to the Courageous Self-Care Podcast. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. On this show, we discuss self-care that goes beyond bubble baths, chocolate, and wine. It is the kind of self-care that makes a difference because it's strategic. It gives you more energy, more confidence, more joie de vivre, and it's not for the faint of heart. It is called Courageous Self-Care for a reason. And it, no questions asked, changes your life. To get your free resource called Top 10 Energy Drains mini course, go to ChristinaMarlette.com and you'll find out ways that you have been draining your energy without even knowing it. Today on the show, we are going to discuss some of the foundations of courageous self-care. As a quick reminder, in episode 1, we talked about what courage really means. If you missed that, it is available for you. It's very important information. When I learned what courage meant really, truly, deeply, it made me think about it every day. It's a wonderful guidepost. And then in episode 2, we talked about what self-care really is and the difference between internal and external self-care and why we should be practicing both. Today, we're going to get into the foundations of courageous self-care. For the last year, I've been taking a deep dive into what self-care really is, and it's not generally what people think it is, which is why I say it goes beyond bubble baths, chocolate, and wine. I started off by thinking that there were 7 foundations, and that seemed to align nicely with the 7 chakras, and I was going to make it work with that. And then I sat down to write them out, and it turned out that there were 10. And I thought, well, that's okay. 10 is the same number of fingers that we have, well, and thumbs included, of course. And humans like the number 10. 10 is nice and round. So then I sat down to write them out again, and it turned out that there were 12. I'm still okay with 12 because that means there is one for each month of the year. And as we get into them on this podcast, each month probably will be devoted to one of the foundations. Today, I wanted to give you an overview of the first 6. I don't want to overwhelm you with 12 right away. So 6 of them to start off with, and then next episode, I'll talk about the other 6. Before we get into that, if you hear one of the foundations and you think, oh, I could speak about that, please go to ChristinaMarlette.com and apply to be a guest on this podcast. The more, the merrier. And if you are passionate about one of the foundations and know a lot about it or have a story about it, or even if you have a story about a courageous moment in your life, I would love to have you as a guest on the show. You can go to ChristinaMarlette.com to apply. All right. First foundation, and I start with this one because it affects everything. It is shifting your relationship with time. If you think about it, your relationship with time affects everything in your life. There is not a second that goes by where your relationship with time isn't affecting it. It is incredibly powerful. And here's what I like to ask people. If time were your friend, would time actually want to be your friend with the way that you think about time and speak about time? Probably not, right? We can be pretty harsh on time. We even say that life is short, and that's just not true. We get to believe. Well, the great thing about time is we get to choose our beliefs about it. And here's the benefit of making time your friend. When time is your friend and feels appreciated, because time is energy, and energy coincides with energy, so whatever you're putting out there, you're getting back to you, then what I have found with shifting my relationship with time is that now that we're good friends, time gives me all of these gifts, these delightful, surprising gifts that perk up my day. It's worth shifting your relationship with time. So that's foundation number 1. Number 2 is gratitude. Gratitude changes everything. I've been curious about how people interact with gratitude and what kind of practices they have around it. So I've been asking people, women in particular. And for the most part, they reply when I say, what do you do for gratitude? What are your gratitude practices? They say, I say thank you. And that is a great place to start. And in addition to that, having some concrete strategic gratitude practices that you do on a daily basis, it works like magic. And what it does is it gives you more to be grateful for. Because again, what you're putting out, you get coming back to you. And I could speak about gratitude for a whole month, which I'm excited because I'm going to. I have added more and more practices to my gratitude repertoire that don't take any extra time. Speaking of our relationship with time, it's just shifting our thoughts. So I'm very excited to share about how gratitude changes everything with you down the road. Okay, foundation number 3, forgiveness. Forgiveness is paramount in most, if not all, spiritual traditions. It's a foundation to all spiritual practices. And for the most part, forgiveness is taught using the mind, the power of the mind. And the mind is very, very important. And when we practice forgiveness as an action and bring in the body to practice forgiveness, oh my goodness. It is so much easier to release resentment and grudges and blame when we get the body involved. And because I'm a certified embodiment coach, all of these practices get their own embodiment exercise so that we're not only thinking about these practices and these foundations, but we're bringing them right into the body so that we are aligning mind, body, spirit, and emotions. It's like the triple threat, but quadruple threat when we are doing personal development. Embodiment is like the secret weapon, except it's not a weapon because there's nothing to kill. All right, so those are the first 3 foundations. Shifting your relationship with time, gratitude changes everything, and freedom through active forgiveness. I would love to pause here and invite you, if you are interested in becoming a sponsor for the Courageous Self-Care podcast. Oh, I would just love to have you on board and to help you promote your message, service, or product. So if you would like to be a sponsor, the rates are extremely affordable. You can go to ChristinaMarlett.com to apply. And Christina is spelled with a CH, and Marlett is spelled MARLETT.com. You know how to spell that. Moving right along. We're going into foundation number 4 of courageous self-care, and that is full self-expression. I was being interviewed on a podcast yesterday from a lovely gentleman from Trinidad and Tobago, Angel Jones. It was a great interview, and he asked what my personal philosophy was. And he caught me off guard because admittedly I didn't read all of the preparation questions, so I didn't know what my personal philosophy was in the moment. And so what I said is, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And I do believe that, but it's kind of a cliche. I wanted my own thought. And one of the ideals that I subscribe to is that, okay, this is a cliche too. However, what I wish I said is that I march to the beat of my own drum. My rhythm is my own, and your rhythm is your own. And when all the rhythms come together, it creates this amazing worldwide beat. Okay, I made up that last part. The beat, the drum part is the cliche, and I made up the rest. That's what I wish I said. So yay, I have my own podcast. I can correct what I wanted to say. Self-expression is immensely important in practicing courageous self-care. And the interesting thing is It's not an idea that we interact with all that often. We might think, well, I'm not creative or I'm not an artist, so I don't have all that much self-expression. But again, there are so many different facets to self-expression. And what I have amassed over my 10 years of personal development is, ooh, that Facebook notification distracted me. Okay. I bet you heard that too. Okay, next time I'll turn off Facebook on my computer while recording. Okay, self-expression is immensely important, and I have amassed a large number of very strategic practices that, again, don't take any extra time, and they help you uncover who you really are. And I feel like that is one of the most important parts of our journey in this lifetime, is to uncover who we really are and then openly share that discovery and that person with the world unabashedly. That's foundation number 4. Foundation number 5 of courageous self-care is harmonic energy. What does that mean? Okay, so if you've been listening, you already know I'm very enthused by the idea of energy. And what I would love for each human being to do is to find harmony between their masculine energy and their feminine energy. There's a whole scientific basis to this, so it's not just woo-woo if you're thinking that's what it's sounding like. It also has to do with the science of hormones and stress and how our bodies function. And also in nature, every single example in nature has a masculine and a feminine side to it, an energy to it. So many women are stuck in their masculine side. And so we have people teaching about feminine power, and that is super important. And in addition to that, what is also important is to learn how to harmonize those two energies. Men, more than ever before, have access to feminine energy. That's why we're seeing stay-at-home dads and men who are, what do I want to say about that? Men who are taking on the qualities of feminine energy. And then on the other side of the same coin, we have women who have more access to masculine energy than ever before. And that's why we're seeing women in the workforce. And this is the evolution of humanity that's been happening. So what can happen is we can go way too far up one side, and then the pendulum swings and go way to the other side, which was my experience when I discovered feminine energy, because I had been living completely in my masculine side. We'll get into that when we talk about harmonic energy. But when each human being, if they had the ability to harmonize those two energies, we would have whole, complete human beings, and our relationships would reflect that. We wouldn't be seeking what we don't have in someone else and trying to fill a void. We would all be whole, coming to a relationship and creating a very powerful union with our partner. That is harmonic energy. Last one for today, we're moving into number 6, is mindset mastery. The mind is very powerful, and this foundation encompasses mindfulness. It encompasses and includes mind power, manifestation, learning to use the mind to our advantage instead of it being our adversary. That's what I mean. And becoming masterful at that, because the mind, once you get the mind on board, you can dramatically decrease the amount of negative thoughts that you're having, the self-defeating behavior, shifting your beliefs so that they're no longer working against you and they're working before you. And all the work that you do on the inside starts to show up on the outside. That's how it works. You do the inside work first, and then it shows up on the outside. Those are the 6 foundations that I wanted to share with you today. Tomorrow we'll get into the other 6. I'm Christina Marlette. Thank you so much for listening. We are airing every Monday through Friday, so be sure to tune in to get more of this very valuable information that can change your life. And go to ChristinaMarlette.com to find out the top 10 energy drains that are zapping away your energy. And then the mini course will help you learn how to shift that. That's a free resource. Clearly my time is up. That's a free resource. Go ahead and get it for yourself there. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you again soon.